Nearly 4.5 million students in America's public school system are learning English as a new language, and experts predict that number will continue to climb.
In all of my classrooms combined, there's 24 different countries represented and probably 30+ languages.
Immigrants, refugees from other countries, children born in the U.S. to parents who speak languages other than English at home. Whatever the circumstances, children who need to learn English now make up roughly 1 in 10 public school students nationwide.
What's this called?
Many of these English learners score lower on standardized tests, experience higher dropout rates, and have lower graduation rates than native English-speaking students. That means our country faces a crucial educational challenge. How do we teach English learners the language and the academic content they need to succeed so they can fuel the workforce and contribute to our country's economic growth?
So typically the approach to integrating immigrant English learners in the classroom is take a few English learners, put them in a mainstream general ed classroom, and they'll just sink or swim. But unfortunately, it does not work for the majority of students.
Newcomer programs, dual language programs, and sheltered instruction are 3 evidence-based approaches to teach English and academic content simultaneously. Over the next half hour, hear from research experts about how these teaching methods help all students succeed in school, and see examples of these strategies at work in the Cleveland Metropolitan School District.
We should all care about English language learner education. We really all benefit.
This is my friend. Her name is Sarah. What's your name? Can you tell me your name? Look, her name is Sarah. My name is Janice. And what's your name? No? Okay, so your name is Muhammad, right? Is that your name? Okay. Father? Mother.
It's intimidating, even disorienting, not to know the language, isn't it? Now imagine having to learn that new language and also having to learn academic content in science, math, social studies, and that's all taught in an unfamiliar language too.
Say it, boy. I can hear. Say boy. Boy, very good.
This is the challenging world of English learners, the official term given to the diverse students who enter school with limited ability to speak English. 7-year-old Muhammad is a prime example. He's part of a refugee family recently arrived from Afghanistan.
So lots of people actually think that you can put children who are English learners in a class and just immerse them in a second language. You can't just put them in a classroom where the language spoken is English. You really need to provide them with the supports they need to understand what it is the content is about.
English learners are the fastest growing population of students in public schools nationwide.
We have about 47 languages and dialects that are being spoken right now in the Cleveland Metropolitan School District.
Hi, how are you? Good, I'm glad.
Every English learner here starts the enrollment process at the Multilingual, Multicultural Education Office. The staff assesses the student's language abilities, and they continue to provide academic support once the child starts school.
The most important aspect of our intake and enrollment process is having the family feel welcomed.
How are you?
As soon as families have that connection, they begin to be more at ease.
80% of English learners in the Cleveland Metropolitan School District are Spanish-speaking. Many of those students were born in the United States. Another 10% are refugees, and the rest, immigrants.
English learners are 10% of the U.S. population, and they're not doing as well in school as children who are English proficient.
Across the country, only 62% of English learners graduate from high school. By law, English learners in the U.S. must be given support for second language acquisition. The major federal law is called the Every Student Succeeds Act. It was passed in 2015, and one of its requirements says districts must use effective practices backed by scientific evidence.
In this field, there's much more limited research. So in areas that look at literacy development, in areas that look at math, knowledge and acquisition, in studies that look at science, when you're looking at specific instructional practices, we really need more work in this area. But we do know something. Some of these are things that work well for all kids, like strong leadership, like small group instruction, like using data to monitor progress and intervening. Some of these things are specific to English learners, which is knowing how to differentiate instruction, giving kids opportunity to interact with native speakers who are proficient in the language these kids are acquiring.
One practice is to teach students English, but to do it through the teaching of academic content. It's called content-based instruction. That's a departure from traditional English as a second language instruction, which focuses more on grammar and vocabulary.
What you try to do is make sure that the kids are getting access to grade level content, but provide the kinds of supports they need to be able to understand what that content is.
To achieve that, Cleveland Metropolitan schools are using a range of research-based instructional methods, including Newcomer programs, sheltered instruction,
What does the soil provide the roots?
and dual language programs.
I see you tomorrow, okay?
It's all part of committed educators' efforts to deliver high-quality instruction to this growing population of students in need. At Thomas Jefferson International Newcomers Academy, the students here have been in the United States for less than 2 years. More than half of the newcomers in this particular school are refugees. The rest are U.S. citizens from Puerto Rico or immigrants from other countries, and they arrived with little to no English language skills.
Typically, the approach to integrating immigrant English learners in the classroom is take a few English learners, put them in a mainstream general ed classroom, and they'll just sink or swim. But unfortunately, it does not work for the majority of students. We hear from many students that we talk to that they feel stupid. They say, I always feel like the American students are smarter than me.
What's a metaphor?
A classroom designed especially for newcomers reduces anxiety and creates confidence.
We're all learning English, we all have an accent, nobody's making fun of us, and it's a shared community, and it's a community of shared purpose.
At Thomas Jefferson, lessons are delivered using a practice called sheltered instruction.
Okay, what word did you build, Heba? I like the way you built it. Fast, fast, fast. Say it again. Pet.
They receive intensive instruction, and lessons scaffold the information, presenting it in multiple ways, including simplified language, visual aids, graphics, and hands-on activities.
When we group immigrant English learners together, what we see is that because their common language is English, that's the language that they use to communicate.
This newcomers program also encourages students to use their home languages for more successful outcomes.
Preventing students from accessing what they know in their home language is really not helping them. It means that, they're hobbling along without being able to use all the tools in their toolboxes.
I want to be,
A good example occurred when the students were asked to talk about their career aspirations. In English, they struggled.
I want to be doctor when I'm...
But when they were able to express their thoughts in their home languages, they revealed sophisticated career goals.
Yo quiero estudiar antropología forense.
Gilberto just said he wants to be a forensic anthropologist.
It's the proper noun, dude. You found done. Awesome.
But newcomer schools cope with a whole other level of complexity.
A lot of our students, especially our refugee students, come with trauma. Some students cross the border themselves. Others have seen people killed, maybe family members killed. They have been sexually molested and other things. So a lot of trauma.
Experts estimate about half of all refugees are under the age of 18.
We have a student, we're teaching her how to write her name because she doesn't know how to hold a pencil. Some of them, we have to teach them hygiene. Others, how to get along with each other. For example, we have 2 different Somalian tribes and they have some bickering going on, so we have mediation. We let them know what our norms are here in America and that we're all the same.
Despite this web of challenges, newcomers, like all other English learners, are required to master the same academics and pass the same standardized tests as native English speakers.
And so it's very important to see what we could do to really bring research-based knowledge to bear on educating these children.
But sometimes it begins with one very important lesson.
They can have a dream, because some of them come without dreams.
What was the first step when we talked about career choices and planning? Yes.
When they get here, they're like, really? I could be this, I could be a chef, I could be a lawyer. We want everybody to be college ready. Our mission is like, everybody's going to college. You're going to college if you graduate from here. They quickly realize, wow, I am in America and I could do whatever I want to do and be whatever I want to be.
When I grow up, I'm gonna be a veterinarian.
I want to be photographer.
I'm computer engineer. My pleasure is to do medical assistance.
Teacher, to help kids that don't know math, reading, like our teacher show us.
76 and 75. If you're not
To help English learners succeed, teachers need to learn too, adopting methods that embed English language instruction in the academic lessons.
We, right now, nationwide, have a shortage of teachers properly endorsed and certified in English language learning.
I can determine story.
But learning those methods is a challenge for even the most seasoned teachers.
Orange group is going to be here.
When I started here back in 2010 as a teacher, even though I had 20 years experience under my belt, I felt like an ill-prepared, awkward, brand new, out of college teacher.
So which story element is that?
And literally, I would just go home and cry because I didn't feel I was actually doing the best I could to meet the needs of these students.
Samuel Roman works in the school district's Multilingual, Multicultural Education Office. He visits teachers in the classroom regularly to provide coaching, part of the district's ongoing professional development for teachers who serve English learners. Today, he's observing Tracy Finch's 6th grade language arts class at Thomas Jefferson International Newcomers Academy. 57% of these students are refugees.
I have Chinese, Hindi, Swahili, Arabic, French. There's a couple of my girls, you can't even find their language listed on a website. If they are all good, then you give them your green. Teaching here is a totally different animal. The time and place.
The Cleveland Metropolitan School District requires all teachers servicing English learners to also have something called the TESOL endorsement.
TESOL stands for Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages. I want to caution people from thinking that modifying a lesson for an English learner, they might think, oh, well, that's just watering it down, it's just dumbing it down. That is not what we're talking about at all here. We're using certain routines and strategies to make it more understandable and more accessible to the English learner so that students develop their skills in listening, speaking, reading, and writing. People say, oh, well, you know, my grandfather didn't need any special teaching of English, he just picked it up, you know. Yeah, but what did he have to use English for? They weren't preparing these immigrant children to be college and career ready. The English you need to work in a factory is a lot different from the English that you need to be a graphic designer or a doctor or an engineer.
In the past, many immigrants got by with conversational English. But to succeed in school nowadays and in the demanding workforce of the future, these students must also acquire academic English,
which is a more sophisticated language with much more challenging vocabulary. So the way that the language of math is structured is different from the way the language of social studies is structured or the way that the language of science is structured.
In Tracy Finch's classroom, the students were working on academic language to analyze literature.
I was looking mostly, first of all, academic discourse, academic interaction among the students. How were the students interacting with the content of the academic language? And also, I was looking for, you know, what is the teacher doing to elicit language from the students.
What needs to be fixed? Talk to each other.
And you can actually have newcomers speak using complete sentences that are basic, but they're really rich in content.
It has the objectives, how to do it.
It's a real challenge, but there's a reality of many of our schools in the United States. Standards are changing, and laws are changing, and requirements are changing at the state level. You need to be willing to keep up and change with that.
Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
I think you just have to have a passion for teaching.
I want to be a doctor.
I want to be a lawyer.
I like working with numbers. My mom is in accounting too, so follow her footsteps.
After I get done with high school, I want to be a psychologist because I like help people.
I want to be a social worker. When I grow up, I want to be a doctor that cure cancer because there's a lot of people dying out of cancer and I want to find a cure for it.
Come on, all the way through. Hit that front part of the base.
We have a large English language learner population at Clark School. When you walk into a classroom, it's not going to look any different than a suburban classroom, a rural classroom.
Could someone point to a natural resource in our room that we're using?
Meaning the students are going to be receiving the same type of instruction as their peers who speak English as their first language. They're going to be participating in the same type of activities. They're going to have the same expectations. It's just how we present that material to them may look a little bit different.
At Clark Pre-K through 8 school on the west side of Cleveland, about 30% of the students are English learners. Most speak Spanish as their first language.
Some of the students have been born in the United States or in the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, however, have moved to Cleveland in the recent years.
The school uses sheltered instruction, the same method used at Thomas Jefferson International Newcomers Academy.
With sheltered instruction, the goal really is helping English learners acquire core content instructed in English, and then to use techniques that are research-based. For a lot of English learners, they may come to school without the foundational skills they need, and it may be that the teacher has to divide the class into a couple groups, depending on the level of proficiency of your second language learners and their levels of background knowledge.
What else uses water?
With one group getting some extra instruction to build these foundational skills. One of the things we do is use PowerPoint slides or give the teacher a whiteboard, and children are seeing what the teacher is saying.
And that's in Spanish. In English, is, write it. No, you don't have to erase it. You're going to add it. You're going to add it to the end of the word.
We also give children handouts where we have what the teacher is saying, the key points are written.
No, you don't have to cross them. You only crossed out the 2 and change it to a 1. Now you got it? All right.
And students get plenty of interaction with each other by working in cooperative learning groups.
It is a few found on the bottom bonds of oceans.
Students may receive additional tutoring too, in small groups led by a bilingual paraprofessional who speaks the students' home language.
How might the climate help to explain why? So, ¿cómo el clima? Tienes que explicar cómo el clima.
You crossed out this 2.
A good day at work at Clark School is to see the children exit the building with a smile on their face. It's seeing that whole child develop, how we're preparing them to be successful.
Blink on cloudy days.
When I grow up, I want to be a policeman so I can stop crime. When I grow up, I want to be a lawyer because I want to help people that have to go to court.
After school, maybe I will go to college, but I'm really not sure what I want to be. There's a lot of jobs I really like. When I grow up, I want to be a mechanic fixer.
At Bure Dual Language Academy near the west side of Cleveland, mornings start off with music. But once kids dance away their excess energy, they settle in for academic instruction. And at Bure, that comes with a twist. This is Ohio's first dual language education program, meaning all students, English learners and native English speakers alike receive academic lessons in 2 languages. The goal is for all students to become proficient in both English and Spanish.
It's essential for our next generation of students to be bilingual.
1 in 5 U.S. jobs are tied to international trade, yet fewer than 20% of Americans can speak another language. Compare that to 56% of Europeans and 38% of Britons.
What it comes down to is knowing various languages so that we can tap into different markets.
About half of the students here are English learners, and research shows dual language programs like this one are sensitive to preserving the family's native language while still encouraging the use of English.
Because it's not, no, you can't speak that language. It's embraced and it's celebrated.
Last thing that happened in this story was.
And as far as proficiency, we are leading the district. Our students here tend to meet their growth targets.
In kindergarten through 2nd grade, students take language arts in their dominant language. For math, science, and social studies, they spend alternate days learning in both languages. In grades 3rd through 5th, students take language arts and history in English and math and science in Spanish. Middle school students take a Spanish elective course.
5, 6, 7, 8.
It's not uncommon to see kids switching between Spanish and English with ease, and classes are structured so that struggles with language don't hamper a student's ability to express academic knowledge.
¿Suenan igual?
With language, we always want to make sure our students feel comfortable with the language that they're speaking. So in certain classrooms, the language should be Spanish. But if the student isn't quite there yet and needs to respond in English, they're able to respond in English and then just reinforcing that sentence in Spanish.
That moment when it didn't feel weird anymore was when my friend actually asked me a question. I just said it like if it was nothing, like I answered in English like if it was my first language. When I got frustrated learning Spanish or anything, I turned to my friends. We have a Spanish speaker help an English speaker, and an English speaker help a Spanish speaker. So it's all a team effort. All WVIZ is a big family.
La palabra en inglés, exact. ¿Cómo se dice? Exact.
The value of being bilingual is now recognized through a nationwide award called the Seal of Biliteracy. It's given to students by a school, district, or state education department, and it becomes part of the student's official transcript and diploma. As of July 2017, Washington, D.C., along with 27 states, including Ohio, have approved it.
And it's been wonderful for these kids. And I think for the country, too, to recognize sort of the value of being bilingual and biliterate.
It's also a cue to colleges and potential employers who are eager to tap into bilingual talent.
98,542. When I finish high school and go to college, I want to try to be a lawyer and then work my way up to the Supreme Court.
I want to be a lawyer, a crimes and cases lawyer.
When I grow up, I want to be an engineer. Really, after school? Okay, my plan was to be a cardiothoracic surgeon. That works for hearts, and I like doing that because ever since I was little, I wanted to be a superhero, and that was the closest thing to save lives.
And she is an honor roll student.
It makes you wonder what these kids dream of becoming one day too, doesn't it?
In both Spanish and English.
This is Bure's kindergarten promotion ceremony. Take a good look at the class of 2029.
Well, in a day like today, I see pride. I saw them looking at their children and having pride in their accomplishments.
From this, the class of 2029, to the graduating class of 2017. At Thomas Jefferson International Newcomers Academy, 44 English learners have met all of the state and local academic requirements to earn high school diplomas. That's more than twice as many as last year's grads. It's a testament to the hard work of the students and to the educators and researchers who continue to refine methods that teach English language and academics at the same time.
For the students, I wish that each and every one of them will graduate from college and that they will make their families proud.
That pride is already evident. Strip away the layers of cultural differences, and what remains is this: aspiration, ability, and the tendency for kids everywhere to see a camera and wave, and wave, and wave.
Children are children. No matter what, no matter the color of their hair, the color of their eyes, or the language that they speak, children want the same thing in life. Parents want the same thing for their children, no matter what. They all wish to be successful, and it's our responsibility to make sure that they can meet those goals.
The class of 2017.
I want to be a mayor because I want to help the poor people to live a better life.
I want to be in the Army because I care for other people's safety and I love my country.
When I grow up, I want to be a cosmetologist.
When I grow up, I want to be an artist.
Film director.
I wanted to play basketball when I grow up. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a policeman so I can help people.
When I grow up, I want to be a photographer because I see the beauty in everything and everyone.
This program was funded by Track Research Group.